Good morning, all of you. I'm Shailendra Fadke. Welcome you all in this ASP.NET Core Facebook Live session. So before I start my session, I would like to thanks Learning Equinox to give me an opportunity to present this topic live. So let's start the session. So in this session, actually, I have discussed on ASP.NET Core. Before we start, we need to understand what do you mean by MVC. So basically, MVC stands for Model View Controller. It is an architecture or you can say it's a software design pattern that makes creating huge kind of applications easy. It does not belong to specific programming language or a framework, but it is a concept that you can use for creating any kind of application or you can say software in any programming language like C Sharp or Visual Basic.NET. Uh, Here, actually, we have to know how actually MVC architecture is. So let's understand first that architecture. So see, basically, if you want to develop any kind of a application by using .NET framework, fine. So you can use a framework that uses MVC architecture to help us develop application fast and simple. It might be a little hard to get your head around the MVC structure at first if you have created very simple application without using any kind of architecture or framework. But you will, but see, actually, we are going to see such kind of a thing practically when we start create a project by using MVC.NET. So let us understand the particular architecture of MVC. So what happened actually? Uh, when we talk about the particular contents or we can say the different parts of MVC components, so there are three major components over here. So what are they? The first one is model, the second one is view, and the third one is controller. Each and every of them plays an important role in an application development life cycle. So we have to understand this life cycle first, because unless and until if you don't know what is the life cycle, we don't understand what is MVC. So let's begin the first component, that is called as a model basically. So model represents domain specific data, or you can say it's a business logic in our MVC architecture. It maintains the data for the application model object. Basically, whenever we want to retrieve or store some kind of a model state in the persistent state to store in a database. So it doesn't mean that which kind of a database you use in a background. You can use Oracle, MySQL, or SQL Server, but model's responsibility to communicate with that database. Model is, what is a model basically? Model is just a class who holds the public properties. What you have to understand, model is just a class who holds the public properties, and all the model classes resides in the model folder in MVC models, in MVC folder structure basically. See, actually, we are going to create our new ASP.NET Core project over here. So once I create the particular project, you can understand where is the models, where is the controllers and all. So in a single word, if anybody asks you, okay, what do you mean by model? So you can just say, okay, model represents the data. Model represents the data. Fine. So I hope that you can understand up to here. What do you mean by model? So as I said, okay, model represents the data who actually communicate with our database. So after that, after understanding what is model basically, what we have to do, we have to understand controller. See, the controller, you have to understand that controller is a heart of MVC application. You create any application, whether it is a simple application or any kind of a heavy kind of application like customer relationship management, CRM kind of application you want to create it. Fine. So controller plays a vital role in every application. Controller plays a vital role in every application. So let us understand what is a controller basically. Fine. So what is controller? Controller actually handles your request. You have to understand. Controller handles your request. Typically, the user uses the view and raises an HTTP request, which will be handled by the controller. The controller processes the request and returns the appropriate view as a response basically. Fine. So whatever request we actually give, that request is handled by our controller. So anybody ask you, okay, just tell me about controller. So what you can say, okay, controller is a request handler. Controller is the request handler. What is the request handler? Actually, it handles your HTTP request. So you have to just understand that, okay, whatever request actually you type into the browser's address bar, and when you press enter, so that request called as a request handler. That request is called as a HTTP GET request basically, who handles by your controller. So the controller in MVC architecture handles any incoming URL request. You have to understand that. The controller in MVC architecture is responsible to handle any incoming URL request. So what is a controller basically? Controller also a class. Controller also a class who actually derive from a base class system.web.mvc. So as I said, okay, controller is a class who handles the particular request handler, and it actually contains the public method. That public method called as an action method. So in any object oriented programming language, we actually create functions basically. So over here, we are also going to create a functions, but those functions are called as action methods. So controller and its action methods handles incoming browser's request, who actually retrieves necessary models data and returns appropriate responses to the requester. So in MVC.NET, in MVC.NET MVC actually, ASP.NET MVC, every controller class must end a word called controller basically. So whatever controller we create, so that controller ends with a word controller. For example, let us say controller means if you want to just create a controller called home controller, and controller for student must be student controller basically. Also, every controller class must be located in controller folder of MVC folder structure. So once we understand this model and controller, fine. So the third component is view basically. I repeat, okay, your model who represents the data, your controller who handles your request, basically. So in a simple word, you can say, okay, controller is a request handler. So see, you request to the model, you request to the controller, fine. So you get the data, but what to do on that particular data? You have to just decorate to the particular data. For decoration purpose, we need a view. We need a view basically. So what is a view? So in a simple word, you can say, okay, view is a user interface. View is a user interface. View in MVC is a user interface who actually displays your model data to the user and also enables them to modify any kind of a field basically. Means if I have some kind of a field like employee ID, employee name, gender, department, fine. So such kind of a data, I can just modify it whenever I want. So suppose if I want to apply some kind of a HTML, CSS or jQuery, JavaScript code I want to actually apply it. So I can definitely apply it where on the view basically. So actually view represents your user interface. How do you want to decorate your stuff? So that is tell by your view basically. So as I said, okay, view in ASP.NET MVC is nothing but a HTML, CSS, and some special syntax you can say. What kind of a syntax actually? See, actually we are going to use Razor syntax over here. We are going to use Razor syntax, who makes it easy to communicate with the model and the controller, who actually make the particular data very easy to communicate with model and controller. And it is really understandable, because once we get some kind of a data from my model and controller, this is your view's responsibility to apply some kind of a decoration to your particular stuff. So as I said, okay, view is a user interface. View displays data from model to the user and also enables them to modify the data basically. ASP.NET MVC views are stored in views folder. As we understand, okay, your all models are stored in models folder, your controller store in controllers folder, and your views are stored in views folder basically. So different action methods of a single controller class can render different views. So the views folder contains a separate folder for each controller with the same name as a controller. In order to accommodate multiple views, for example, you can say, okay, views which will be rendered from any of the action method of home controller resides in views folder, and inside that views folder you can say home folder. In the same way, views which will be rendered from student controller, which will resides in views folder, and inside that views folder you can find student folder. So before I start the particular project, I also want to give you an introduction about the particular Razor View engine, which we are going to use it over here. So basically, Microsoft introduced the Razor View engine and packaged with MVCs basically in the third version basically. So what is the purpose of this View engine basically? So by using View engine, we can write a mix of HTML tags and a server-side code in a Razor View basically. So Razor View uses @ symbol for server-side and server-side code instead of traditional syntax basically. So there are various techniques to use such kind of a things basically. So okay, so I hope you understand about this structure, model, view, and the controller. So before we go ahead, what you have to do, actually, we have to just understand, okay, what is the difference between this uh, classic MVC5 and ASP.NET Core basically. So see, basically in ASP.NET Core, there are several benefits or advantage you can say we can achieve over ASP.NET MVC. As per the Microsoft, ASP.NET Core is a framework that is compatible with building each internet and cloud application. So it is basically a fully open source platform class. It is a fully open source platform. But if we just talk about ASP.NET MVC5, it was not at all open source. So when I say open source, it means that okay, you can just run your code on various operating systems. Like of course, Windows is by default. Linux, okay, you have Linux, so you can just write your code in Linux, Macintosh. Yes, of course, you can just write the particular code on Macintosh operating system as well. So that is called as a cross-platform support basically. So when I say cross-platform, so what do you mean by cross-platform? See, ASP.NET Core is a cross-platform framework. It means that okay, by using this framework, we can develop any applications for any operating systems like Windows, Linux, or Macintosh. So we can use this framework for developing web applications, console applications, or you can say yes, desktop applications as well, which can be deployed in any operating system. Also, this framework is a cloud-friendly cloud environment for development purpose as well as deployment purpose. So, uh, okay, so see, we understand such kind of a scenario. So let's create a fresh project by using ASP.NET Core over here. So I already installed Visual Studio 2019 on my machine. So what you have to do, you have to select the particular ASP.NET Core web application template over here and just click next. So once you click next, it will just ask you to mention the particular project name over here. So I just mention okay, uh, okay, core demo 1. So I just click on create button. So as soon as you click on the particular create button, so it will ask you okay, what kind of application or what kind of a template you want to create. So there are various templates are available over here, like empty template, API kind of, or web application, or MVC kind of. So over here we are going to learn the particular web application by using model view controller. So I select this one and just click on create. So as soon as I click on create button, I get such kind of an environment over here where you can see several files and several folders over here. Like as I said, each and every controller will save into this controllers folder. Whatever model we create, it will store into this folder, models folder, and your views will store into the views folder. Fine. So other than this folder, we also have some other folders like dependencies, properties, and www root folder. In previous version of .NET, basically, there was a references folder available over here where we actually store our DLL file over here. So in ASP.NET Core, we get the dependencies folder over here, and inside that dependencies folder, we can see number of dependencies like Microsoft ASP.NET Core Analyzer, components, etc. So the framework is there. So whatever the by default dependencies it requires, it holds by default as soon as you create the particular structure. The properties is there where we can actually get the particular JSON file. There is a www root folder is there. So this root, inside that root folder, basically we can just keep various files and folders like CSS, JS. So suppose if you want to just keep some kind of a images folder over here, so you can just keep it inside that same folder basically. Fine. So what you have to understand, the particular folder structure is fixed. So whenever you want to just deal with the particular extension file, you should know, okay, where to keep such kind of a files and folders. Of course, by default, such kind of a icon is there. So there is no app start, which we actually got it in our previous version. So there are some other files are available like JSON file over here. So we can understand this JSON file later as well. So see, as I said, your controller is responsible to handle your request. Your controller is responsible to handle your request. Your model is represent the data, and your view is for user interface. So what we see, uh, okay, first of all, I just create a model over here. So you just expand models over here. So by default, it provides some kind of a by default CS file over here, like error view model over here. So if you just expand controllers, you can see home controller, and if you just expand these views, you can see there are some folders are available over here. So what we do, we just select this model, and I just delete this one because we don't have any idea about this CS file. So I just delete this one. I also delete this home controller. Fine. And as soon as you create any kind of a controller, so accordingly, as we understand, inside a views folder, it will create the particular folder who actually contains some kind of a CS HTML over here. But currently we don't have any idea about this. So I simply right click and delete these folders. I already deleted that folder. Now, what we are going to do, firstly, we are going to create a model. Firstly, we are going to create a model. I repeat, okay, model is represent your data, who actually communicate with your database. See, over here, we are not going to create any kind of a database. Fine. So we are going to create a class who is actually responsible to communicate with your persistent data. I use a word called persistent data. Persistent means what? Okay, persistent means there is a container who actually store your data permanently. Fine. So I just right click on the models folder and just click on add and just click on class option. Fine. So as I said, model is nothing but a class basically whose extension is .cs. So you decide, okay, what will be your basically class name. So I just mentioned the class name as employee and just click on add button. So as soon as I click on add button, you can see, okay, the particular employee class is created over here. So as soon as you create the particular employee class, so what we can do, this employee class contains various properties basically. This employee class contains various properties. Fine. So how to create a properties? See, over here, we can say, okay, create create some properties, but this property is called as actually auto implemented properties. Auto implemented properties. Fine. So how to create an auto implemented properties? Actually, see, access modifier. Okay, public, suppose integer employee ID, and whenever we want to create some kind of auto implemented properties, we can either use get or set, or we can use get basically. What you have to understand, okay, get will always return some kind of a value, get will always return some value, and set will accept some value, set will accept some value. So likewise, I will create some more auto implemented properties over here, like say public string employee name, public string, suppose emp name. Also it has getters and setters. I just copy this one and just create some more auto implemented properties, like public string say gender, public integer salary, and public string suppose department. Nice. So these many auto implemented properties we do have. So as soon as you create such kind of a auto implemented property in your employee class, let's build a project. So just right click, and there is option called build. Either you can just use that option, or you can simply press Ctrl Shift B from your keyboard. So once you build a project, it will just compile your all CS files. So all the CS files once get compiled, fine. So you will get the message as build succeed over here, but we get the message as build failed. Let us check why we got such kind of a message over here. So see, if you just go to the errors list, so over here there are number of two errors are there. So I just double click over here, and it says, okay, it doesn't get such kind of a error view model over here. Okay, so what I can do, see, basically we actually deleted the by default view model from our project basically. Fine. So actually, means if you do not delete those files, so that is also okay. But we deleted that one. That is okay. Fine. So once you create the particular class, what we are going to do, we are going to create a controller over here. We are going to create a controller over here. So what is a controller basically? Controller actually is responsible to handle your request. Controller is responsible to handle your request basically. Fine. So see, what we are going to do over here, uh, whatever whatever data or whatever controller we actually create over here, so the same thing, so accordingly we are going to create some kind of a action method over here. So let's create a basically controller to achieve or to accept the particular uh, a model over here, and just keep some kind of a things over there. Like, so what kind of a things you want to create? Okay, let us create a first controller over there. To create a controller, just right click on the controllers, go to add, and there is option called controller. Fine. So as soon as you click on that particular option, you can see there is a dialog box appear over here. So over here you can select the particular template whichever you want to create. Okay, there are various templates you can see, like that MVC controller, MT controller, read action, API controller, web API. So there are various options are available. So in my case, I just choose the MVC controller as an empty template and just click on add button. So it is asking me, okay, to enter the particular controller name. So I just enter the particular controller name as home controller and just click on add. So now it is just creating my particular controller. If you just look carefully, currently there is nothing available in my controllers folder over here. So as soon as I create the particular home controller, you can see the particular entry into my controllers folder. Okay. So just try to, have some issues over here. Okay, so our employee controller is created over here. I hope that you can able to see the particular controller which appears inside that particular controllers folder over here. Particular controllers folder over here. So what happened actually? What happened? So when I write some kind of a stuff over here, uh, like see over here, if you just look carefully, there is a new controller class is created inside controllers folder who have already index action method. If you just look carefully, you can see the particular index action method over there. So that method, this selected action method is called as a action method basically. So normally in object oriented programming language, we can say function or a method basically. But in MVC, it is called as a action method. Fine. So see, whenever you want to write your logic or whenever you want to communicate with the model and just pass it to the particular view, so you can just take the advantage of this. Fine. So what I do, I simply copy this one. I just close this project fast. Fine, and just create a new one. Fine. So see, so whatever employee class we actually created over there. So I just want to pass some kind of a data to it. See, this is our employee class definition basically. Fine, and it is build succeeded now. So I just right click over here and just create a new controller and just choose the template as empty controller over here. Fine, and just name it as home controller. Fine. So for our reference purpose, I just create the same controller. Okay, it is a home controller basically. So it is building my project right now. So it not only build the project, it will also generate the code for us. So that generated code call as a scaffolding. So see, the particular home controller is created over here. And as I said, every controller inherits controller base class. So this controller base class is available into Microsoft.ASP.NET Core MVC. So if I just keep the comment to this namespace, you can find there is an issue over here. So this framework don't understand, okay, what is the definition of this controller class and action result interface basically. Fine. So I just remove this comment over here. Fine. So see what we are going to do. We are going to we are going to pass some kind of a data to our employee action method basically. But how to do it? Fine. So let's create a one more action method over here. Say public I want to create action method who actually returns me bunch of employees basically. And for that purpose, I will create okay list of employees. But see, it is not displaying the particular employee class in our IntelliSense. Why? Because the particular class is available in our models folder basically. So I just use that particular namespace first. So our project name is core demo 2 and over here models folder. So as soon as I use this namespace in our project, so now it will understand, okay, if I just press control space over here, so it understands, okay, which model I want to use it over here. Fine. So I will just mention the particular method name over here, like suppose all employees. All employees. Fine. So currently we don't have any kind of employees information over here. So that's why it is showing me some kind of a issue over here. So if you just hover your mouse, it says, okay, the particular function is not returning any kind of a value. So it is showing us some kind of a issue over here. So let's bind some kind of a data over here. How? See, you just create a particular object over here for list of employees. Okay. Suppose employees is equal to new employees. So by using this statement, it will just create an empty list. And into that empty list, I want to pass some kind of a data. So let's bind some kind of a data. let's add it basically. So there is a function called add, and let's instantiate it. New employee object, and if you just press space over here, you can find all the necessary auto implemented properties which we created in our employee class basically. Fine. So this is this is the feature of your your .NET framework basically. So you just pass some kind of a data like employee ID, employee name will be suppose Govind, gender will be suppose male, and salary will be suppose 1000, and department will be suppose IT. So all the necessary data I pass it. I just copy this statement, and for our understanding purpose I just paste it. Fine. I just use some kind of a name like suppose Keshav, like Priyanka. Fine. Like Jayesh, and suppose Preeti. Fine. Those are female. Fine. I just change the salary as well. Suppose 2000, 3000. Some random salary I'm just mentioning over here. Suppose 4000 and 5000. And the department will be suppose HR department. This will be, and this will be suppose HR department. And he is working in suppose payroll department. That is great. So I just change the particular employee ID as well, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Now see, if you just look carefully, I actually initialize my objects basically. So that is called as a object initialization in C# basically. But still it is showing me some kind of issue. Why? Because it is accepting the particular type who matches with this type basically. So see what type we have. We have this type employees who actually holds all the employees information. So let's return these employees. Great. So as soon as you type some kind of a thing, you cannot see such kind of a issue over here. Fine. So see, uh, once you return such kind of a thing over here, it understands. Okay, such data I want to pass it. Such data I want to pass it. But where to pass it? Where to pass it actually? I just want to pass the particular data to my controller's action method. To my controller's action method basically. Fine. So see, uh, over here, over here, this is the action method basically who is actually responsible to read this all employees. So let's create one object over here who accept your bunch of employees basically. So employees, emps. Okay, so what data you want? Okay, I want all employees basically. I want all employees. So whatever data you actually give it to the particular index action method, so that data I want to store it into my EMPS object. Fine. So your all employees data will store into this EMPS object. Now let's hand over this EMPS object to your view. Just hand over this particular all the data you actually hand it over to your view basically. So as soon as you hand over the particular EMPS object to your view, only then your view will understand, okay, what data you want to decorate. What data you want to decorate. So unless and until you don't pass such kind of a parameter, I won't understand, okay, to which object I want to decorate. So it is a null basically. It is a null. So I will show you if I don't pass such kind of a object to my view, what happen actually. So I just pass it for a while, EMPS. Fine. So still I'm having some kind of issue over here. Fine. So it shows me, okay, build succeeded. For some reason it is showing me some kind of a red squiggly line over here. Okay. I don't think so. It have some kind of issue over here. Okay, fine. But it is build succeeded. Okay. Now see what we are going to do. We created our model. We created our controller. Now it's time to design our stuff basically. It's time to create. It's time to decorate our stuff. This stuff I want to represent in a tabular format. But how? See, your model, your model actually we instantiate over here. This is our model basically. This is our employee model basically. And into our index action method, we actually read the particular method who actually hold the particular bunch of employees. And finally, we actually store all the employees into our EMPS object and hand over that EMPS object to our view. So once you hand over this object to your view, let's create the particular view for this index action method. Fine. How to create? See, you can see there is a home folder is already available there. Fine. So I just right click out over here and just click on add view over here. So as soon as I click on add view option, it asks me, okay, what will be your view name? Do you want to use any kind of a skill folder template? Microsoft gives us the by default template for us like create, who actually create the particular form according to our model for deleting purpose. Whenever you want to delete some kind of a employee, you can use the delete template. Okay, so whenever I want to show some kind of a employees information or details, we can use details, or for editing purpose we can use edit. Fine. To display the bunch of employees, we can use the list template over here. But over here, I'm not going to use any kind of an inbuilt template over here. I'm going to use the empty template over here. Fine. Just click on add button. So it is asking me, okay, it is already exists. I just click on yes. So it is creating the particular view for us. So see, basically your view is responsible to decorate your stuff. I actually told you, okay, what is a view? View is a user interface basically. So your user interface is created. If you see carefully, if you just expand this home, fine. So its extension is CS HTML. CS means C sharp and HTML is a HTML, basically hypertext markup language. It means that, okay, whatever C sharp code you want to just use it, you can just write it over here. Plus, means if you want to use HTML tags or CSS decoration stuff over here, you can use in the same file. So over here, what I have to do, I just want to make an entry of my model class first. Fine. How? Just use a razor syntax over here. So this is called as a razor. So it suggests that, okay, your C sharp is starts from this line. Okay. So what is your project name? Okay, it's a core demo 2. Fine. Inside that core demo 2, you can just find models folder, and inside that models folder, you can just find model your model. So currently our model name is employee. But see carefully, home controller's index action method is providing bunch of employees basically. So whenever you want to just read the particular bunch, so you can use list class. List class you can use, or you can say IEnumerable interface. Fine. So mostly developers uses IEnumerable because IEnumerable is faster than list class. Fine. So in the real life scenario, we are actually differentiate between list class and IEnumerable interface. So currently I'm just using this IEnumerable interface over here. Fine. That's great. What you have to understand is, okay, whenever you want to read the bunch of something, whenever you want to read bunch of something, either you can use list class or IEnumerable interface. That's great. Now I just change the heading. Okay, list of employees. Fine. Now before I write anything over here, I would like to show you some kind of a output over here. So I just right click over here and you can see, okay, there is a view in browser option over here. I simply click on that option basically. So as soon as I click on the view in browsers option, you can see, okay, the particular my page is rendering now, and see I got the output over here. So over here you can see, okay, list of employees. So currently we are not able to see any kind of a employees list over here because we didn't bind the particular employees list over here yet. But how to do it? So for example, to get the data from controller and model, what you have to do, you have to create a particular table. Because finally, see, whenever we want to display such kind of a stuff, it should be a well formatted, and for that purpose I'm going to use Bootstrap as well. So see, I use, okay, div class container. I use a container class over here. Fine. So by using container class, it will just apply some kind of a margin to your left and right hand side, and inside that I will create a row over here. Div class, it is a row. So see, if we just look carefully, this is my C sharp code, and over here I'm just creating my basically HTML code over here, where I'm just using such kind of a bootstrap classes. And inside that row, I'm going to create a column. Okay, div class, suppose column MD. MD means medium, col means column, and over here I just want to make the column for 8. That's great. So it's a grid system basically. You can create at least maximum 12 columns in a single row. So I just want to create eight column over here. So inside that division, I want to create a table. I want to create a table. Okay. So table tag, I will use some kind of a bootstrap table class and table stripped basically. Fine. So this is my table basically. So inside that table, I want to create the particular rows and columns. Fine. So okay, what rows? Okay, I just use th means table heading. Okay, I just mentioned the table heading as suppose employee id, likewise employee id, name, gender, department, and salary. Fine. So I simply rename this. Okay, name, suppose gender, and then salary and department. Fine. That's great. Now till here, till this step, I actually successfully created a single row who actually displays the particular headings according to my model basically. Now these headings have some kind of a data which we are going to retrieve from my controller basically. How to do it? Okay, so for that purpose, I'm going to create a row over here. But do we know, okay, how many records we have? So see, if we just go over here, so you can see, okay, sir, I have 5 records over here. But in real life scenario, we are going to read the particular stuff from our database table. And in that case, we may have lakhs of crores of records over there. So we are not sure how many records we have. So in that case, what we are going to do, we are going to use a for each loop there. So I just start the razor view syntax over here, and as I said, whenever you want to use C# code over here, you use @ over there and just type, okay, whatever you want. Okay, I just want to use if. Okay, I just want to use for. Fine. So whatever syntax you want to use, you can just use it. So in our case, I just want to use for each loop over here and just press the tab key twice. Fine. So now see, it generates me the particular syntax for me. Fine. Now see, what I want to do, I just want to read all the particular data. I just want to iterate the particular data over here. Fine. Loop through, I want to iterate it. What data you want to iterate basically? Employee data. Fine. So I use a model. I use a model. See, basically this model is the alias of my employee model basically. Fine. So whatever data you read it, it will just store one by one into this object. Fine. So I just rename this with EMP suppose. Whatever name you want to just keep it, you can just keep it over there. I create a new TR over here. So every time, as soon as my loop will iterate, every time this row will create. Every time my row will create, and inside that row basically what I want to do, I just want to create new TD every time. I want to create a new TD every time. Now see how to read those stuffs basically. If I simply type emp dot, I won't get anything over here. Why? Because this is just the HTML part. This is simple text, but I don't want to use a simple text basically. So I want to use this as an object basically. And for that purpose, fine. So you have to use razor syntax. So I type at that over there and just type okay emp. And now see, if I just type dot over here, you can see all the necessary members which we successfully read from our model. If we just remember the particular stuff, those are the auto implemented properties basically. This range symbol indicates that okay, these are the auto implemented properties which we created in our employee model. So okay, what data you want to display? Okay, I want to display this employee id, so I just use this employee id, and likewise I just copy this line and just paste it for name, gender, salary, and department. That's great. Now just change these properties. Okay, I want to display my employee name, I want to display my employee gender. After that I want to display my employee salary, and finally I want to display the department. Fine. See, this is just a heading. This is just a heading, this one, and this is actual value. This will be my actual value basically. Fine. Just press Ctrl KD. Fine. So Now see, I apply some kind of a bootstrap classes over here. That is fine. Now I just right click over here and just click on view in browser. So as soon as you request to this particular page, now you see carefully, okay, I got all the particular employees list over here. It looks very nice. Fine. So see, you can see all the employees list over here. There is a list of employees heading is there. Fine. So all the data we successfully bound it in our tabular format. See, whatever bootstrap you want to apply to that particular heading, you can just apply. Like suppose list of employees there. Fine. So I just want to apply some kind of a class like suppose alert and alert danger. Suppose I want to apply such kind of a bootstrap class over here. Now just save it and just refresh it once, so you can see the particular danger class is applied to my particular header. That is great. So see, basically that was very difficult process in previous version of ASP.NET Web Forms. Whenever we want to retrieve the particular stuff in tabular format, we use many controls over there, like grid view, data list, repeater control, and so many things we actually used it. But over here, we are not going to use any kind of a inbuilt controls over here, because there are no inbuilt controls available in nor in MVC or ASP.NET MVC core. What we are going to use some kind of a HTML helpers over here. We are going to use some kind of a HTML helpers over here. See, if you just carefully over here, you cannot see any kind of a details over here. But if I want to create some kind of a link, suppose over here I just want to create some kind of a actions. So over here I just give the heading as action, and see, I just create one more TD over here. What I want to do, I just want to create a particular hyperlink, where actually when you click on that particular hyperlink, I want to display the particular employee details over there. So for that purpose, I just create a HTML. So what is this HTML? HTML is a basically it is a helper. Fine. So there are number of helpers are available over here, like HTML, Ajax, and etc. So if you just give dot, you can see there are various members are available over here. So I want to use action link. So this action link is a method basically who actually uses to create a hyperlink. Like in HTML we use anchor tag over here. So likewise in ASP.NET MVC we use a HTML.action link. Okay, so what will be the link text? Okay, I want to just mention the text as suppose details. Okay, so if you just press comma, it is just showing me action name. Okay, what will be the action name? Okay, I want to create the details action method name. Fine. So currently we don't have details action method available into our controller. We are going to create it. Just press comma. Okay, what will be the controller name? Okay, our controller name is home controller. So just mention home. Don't write something like this. Fine. So it understand that, okay, if you just mention the particular appropriate controller name, it assumes that, okay, it is a controller, because it suggests that, okay, it's a controller's space basically. Fine. That's great. Now just save it once and just rerun it. I just right click over here and just request the particular stuff in my browser. So if you just look carefully, each and every row got the particular details action method over here. But if you just look carefully into the status bar, I cannot see the particular employee's ID as soon as I hover the particular mouse pointer on the details action method, details action link basically. You cannot see it. But in my case, what I want, I just want to display the particular employee ID as soon as I hover my mouse pointer over here. But how to do it? For that purpose, what we are going to do over here, we are going to use some kind of a parameter over here. Fine. I just type new okay, and I just want to pass employee ID. So from where I got the from where I get the particular employee ID. See over here. So this object will provide me the employee ID. How to do it? Okay, just type @emp dot employee ID. That's great. Fine. Just save it once and just request into the browser. And if you just look carefully, if I just hover my mouse pointer on the details, you can see, okay, each and every details is getting the particular employee ID on my particular status bar. So accordingly accordingly I can actually deal with the particular employee ID now. Fine. So what kind of a deal you want to do? Okay. So suppose I want to display the particular details of Jayesh or any selected employee basically. So I simply click on that particular link. See, if I simply click on that details, you can see the particular employee ID is passed into my address bar basically. Into my address bar basically. So over here, if you just look carefully into my address bar, see this is my address bar basically. Over here, into my address bar you can see the particular saint employee ID is displaying, so it's good. Fine. So uh, we successfully display the particular stuff over here. So accordingly you can just create multiple actions, like suppose I just copy this statement. Fine, I just paste it for twice. Okay, I want to display details. I just want to edit it, display details, as well as I want to delete the particular stuff over here. Fine, and accordingly I will also create the particular uh, text over there, so my user can understand. Okay, if you just click on the particular action link, what kind of a process will happen. Fine, so see, I just save it once and I just re-request to this particular view. Although I request to the particular view, but you have to remember your controller is responsible to handle your request. Your controller is responsible to handle your request. So that is fine. So I can see all the three action methods are displaying over here on my browser. And if you just hover the particular mouse pointer anywhere, you can see the particular selected employee ID on the status bar. And if you just click on any action link, the particular action link is opening over there, having the particular sent employee IDs there, ID there. Fine. So such kind of a logic you have to just write it over there, and by using this logic help us to retrieve the particular stuff from our basically method. So currently this method is dealing with our particular model, and by using that model we are actually instantiated, and finally we actually hand over the particular model to our action method. So see, we not only use this employee ID employees to just display the particular bunch of data. I just comment to this statement. I can use the particular method for filtration purpose as well. So there is a method called where. Fine. So into that where actually I can write my own expression over there. I can just able to write my own expression, and that expression is called as a lambda expression. It is called as a lambda expression. So what is the use? See, if I just want to display the particular data, see, I just want to display those employees whose gender is male, suppose. Fine, I just want to use those data. So I can just write my own lambda expression over here. Like suppose x such that, or goes to, or is a lambda operator over here. So x dot, suppose, okay, you just want to filter it by using gender. So gender double equal to male. That's it. Fine. So uh, by using this statement, I will just filter the particular gender whose gender is male, and it will just store it into this object. So finally it will just typecast into the list. That's fine. If you just save it, and just if you just look carefully, I just right click over there and just click on view in browser. So you will get the particular stuff of those employees whose gender is male. That's great. Fine. So we got the particular expected data over there, and accordingly you decide, okay, what kind of a data you want. Fine. So accordingly you can just write your own lambda expression there. Like suppose I just want to display the particular data whose EMP name starts with suppose suppose P, suppose. Fine. I just type this name, and I just want to hand over the particular list. Fine. So if you just carefully, I will just get the particular those employees list whose name actually starts with character P. So C class, whenever you want to create the application like a search engine, so in that case you can just use such kind of a functions. So there are number of functions are available there, like starts with, we saw, like ends with, like ends with, and ends with mean the particular name will end with that character, and it also have contains. So mostly we use such kind of contains, because I don't know where your particular characters contain, so accordingly it will just filter the particular content. Like suppose if I just want to print all the employees name who contains the character I, so it will just returns me all the data like Govin, Priyanka and Preeti. Suppose I just save it and I just request it on my browser first. So over here you can see I got all the data whose name actually contains the particular character I. Fine. So I hope till here you understand the particular ASP.NET Core structure over here.